So we're talking about pricing today. Design fees, project management, construction management, consulting. There's a lot of different ways that people price in the interior design industry. And I'm sure all of us have tried different ways. In the beginning, you probably do hourly, then you move to a flat fee.
And then you move back to hourly, then because, the fact is that if you're just charging hourly and that's it, I mean, there are ways of revenue, and you can't just charge hourly to be a business.
Hourly is good for beginners when you have to figure out how much time you're actually spending in
Yes,
goal. So, but once you become more of an expert, you want to get paid not for your time, but for transformation and for value,
right.
right? So that's where
Ideas. Yeah.
exactly. And that's where more of the flat fee pricing comes in.
Right. The flat fee pricing. And that's just the fee for your time and your expertise and your creativity on your design.
Yes. So the design fee is essentially just to design the project, selections, all of the pieces that it takes. But then the execution and the project management is sort of a separate phase. So,
Right. I mean, if you're doing hourly, then it's like every hour that you work.
mhm,
But then there's also, the thing is with hourly, and if you're taking into account your product, the sourcing, I mean, you probably have source inspect your design. Okay. But now you got to procure it. And that procurement can take a long time. A long time as in
yeah,
just getting all the details right. Now, I don't ever shop retail. I don't go to Crate and Barrel. I'm not going to Pottery Barn. I am going custom. Not high end. Like, yes, I sometimes do high end, like Holly Hunt and Ralph Pucci and like all and really custom work, but
mhm,
not every time. So then there's the middle of the road, which is like using American manufacturers, using their, let's just say their sofa style, because they'll have like 200 sofa styles, right? Use one of their sofa styles. You're specifying the fabric, you're specifying the fill, you're specifying the seat, like
a lot of technical
the wood
details.
finish. Yeah. Extra trim, different trim, like any other kind of special design feature of that sofa. You want to have a different color back and different seat cushions.
Different piping, different legs. What color are the legs? What kind of legs?
Bouillon.
I always find it amusing when somebody's like, "Oh, can you, like, pick out a couch for me?" Like, it's not like picking one out of a catalog. There's a lot of details,
Right.
like the depth of the sofa. If people are taller, longer legs, comfortability is different for each person. Like, there's so many details that go,
Exactly.
you know, doing
So
that.
now you got to procure all that and making sure it's right. And if it's not right, like who's
Who's
you're taking on that
taking on
responsibility. I mean, something always happens because there is breakage and, there's damage during shipping, installation time, accepting, warehousing it while maybe your project isn't done, right? So all that time, and then when something goes wrong, like you install it, but something's wrong with it, they're not going back to, Crate and Barrel to get it fixed. They're coming back to you. So there has to be that like margin in there
Mhm.
to cover all that additional time that it's going to take, because it's going to take, and things don't come in, all at the same time. I mean, that is the goal. But, I know during COVID, like if I got the sofa and I'm like, okay, we're putting it in today because I don't know when the armchairs are going to come in. I don't know when the next piece of furniture is going to come in. So rather than just doing one full day of install, I was doing 7, 8 different install days, one piece at a time, just to make sure that, to keep my clients happy. But there's all that time. So I guess, what am I saying? I'm saying that don't be giving away your design fee difference, like the cost to you to the cost of your client. You know how everybody's giving away? It's a whole big thing. What's it called? Designer discount.
Designer.
Don't be giving it away.
Yeah.
Okay. I said it. I'm having a cup of coffee now.
Yeah, it's a big part of the revenue for interior design of how we make money and create a sustainable business. Like, you cannot be sustainable just on design fees.
Right.
You are essentially a seller of merchandise, right? So you have to make that that margin. The same way you would when anyone goes into a retail store to buy something, the store is not selling it to you at cost. They are selling it to you with them making a profit or they would be out of business. So
Right.
there are design fees, there's the markup on the furnishings that you sell, and then there's also the project management execution part of it.
Okay. So there's not just in an interior design company at any firm, there's not just one source of revenue, design fees. Because I can tell you that in doing this over 15 years, that design fees have never covered my costs. That's
Yeah.
not I mean, like, yes, they get you a base, but it's not gonna build a business. In fact, it probably wouldn't even pay me a living wage sometimes, you
Yeah.
know?
And the project management part of it, especially when you're designing and building a new house and doing a renovation, all the site visits and all of that project management with the contractor and being on site. Like I was just on site the other day for, like pre-electrical walkthrough. Like there's a million different, things that we have to do in the course of the construction. So you have to make sure you're getting paid for that as well. That is not design fee. That is the project management and execution part, which essentially can be a separate phase. So then a separate fee.
So you can do design fee, you can do one fee for your design, you can do one fee for your project management,
Mhm.
right? So there's another, so it's separate.
Yeah. Or you
However,
could put
you know,
all
if
together.
yeah, I mean, honestly, or you put it all together, which is what I normally do,
That's what I normally do
right?
too.
Because, I'm not gonna I know I'm not gonna design a project and then say, okay, here, you
You execute it.
you execute it. That's not the point, right? So I
Yeah.
like to do one big fee and that's what's gonna cover. But, there are times when I'm thinking it's gonna be this much, and, part of it is, like, the contract I'm working with. Like, I have found that if I'm working with the client's contractor or painter or whomever it is, that takes up a lot more time. So, doing the flat fee can can, you know, can kick you in the butt.
Yes.
I'm assuming that I've decided that I'll only work with my contractors
Mhm.
because I know what I expect from them. They know, and I don't have to be, you know, I guess micromanaging them because we know how to make it work together.
I agree. It's much harder to when you're not working with your own set of trades and people that you've built relationships with and that you trust, and that's so important in the design industry because we have to it takes it takes like a
Uh,
village to do what we do.
Yeah,
You have to build those relationships and you know that if God forbid there's there's a problem or you need to get somebody on the phone, you can make that call and they'll answer and they'll, give you a solution right
they
away.
will respond. They will
Yeah,
call you back.
exactly.
Yes.
And when you're working with a trade that you don't know that maybe the client hired, they don't really have any loyalty to you, so they're not as quick to
Right.
respond is what I found.
Well,
They
it's
respond
also
to the person paying them.
right. Right. I mean, and this is the case. My clients aren't paying them, but they also know that they respond to me because they didn't get the job because of the client. They got the job because I brought them in. So,
Yeah.
um, you know, I'm not really feeding not I am feeding them, but just in a different way. So, but it is having that accountability with the trades that is important because if they don't know like how you work, what your standards are, and you're working with somebody new, you could be there. They get frustrated because they're like, well, I'm doing it. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're not doing it the way I want it done. You're not doing it the way I expect it to be done. You're doing it the way that you do it. And that's okay, but not for me. It's not.
Yeah, everyone works differently and has a different process, and so when you are vetting your trades and building those relationships, you are gonna be working with people that you work well with,
Right.
obviously. So that's important, and when you're working with someone new that you've never worked with before and you don't work similar, there could be hiccups along the way.
Yeah, and it takes taking up so much more time. So I recently did a project where I was working with someone else's trade. It was a lot of work because I thought I was dealing with one person and it turned out another person was on the project, but another person, brings the project in. It was like all this misses. So
Yeah. Well, we have a comment of industry modernism, and they just said, "You are the front ends and must be paid well." So, yes, thank you.
we are right. I mean, we're really the eyes and ears. No, eyes and ears and nose. I was gonna say the nose, but we are the eyes and ears.
We're
What?
bringing together we're everything. We're bringing
Yeah,
together
for
the
your
whole
for our
project
client,
and the whole vision,
right?
everything.
Because even if, like, there's a question on site about this or about that,
Mhm.
99% of the time, the client is gonna turn to me and say, "Well, what do you think?" So, I
Exactly.
don't bring the client into the conversation unless it happens to be, like, very like, I think it's gonna impact the way they function in the room. I'm like, "No, put the outlet, like, not smack dab in the middle of the room, put it off to the right." Like,
Yes,
they're gonna right? Hello?
always.
I mean, how many homes have we walked in? I'm like, "What's
Yeah.
that they do that for?"
Yeah. Well, the house I went to on Sunday, they put this was the client had her builder already, so I just started working with her. But the electrical had started to run where all the boxes were going to be, and literally in every room, she's like, "Why would they put it here? It's always like in the wrong spot."
Exactly, always it's in the wrong spot, because you're talking about guys who, like, they're
Yeah,
not thinking about the whole
and they're
impact.
working like their height, so they're putting it at different heights than like we would put it,
Right.
or they're not thinking, "Oh, I can put a piece of artwork on this big, beautiful empty wall." No, let's stick the thermostat right in the middle of it.
Everybody's gonna be able to know exactly where it is. Oh, yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Reminds me, I gotta take a note
There's a
because
million details, and that's why there's pricing interior design projects can be complex because there's a lot of different aspects.
yeah, so, like, I have done it how many times have I done it wrong? I can't tell you.
The pricing?
Where yeah, the pricing, because the other piece of the pie that you can't know, especially when you're starting with new clients and you do a flat fee, you don't know how are they gonna be at the decision making. I
Yes.
mean, I've started telling clients, look at, like I specify it, for instance, they're working with me. You get, you know, I present. You have a week or so to make your decisions and then come back with all your changes. You get two chances to make changes, two options, two chances, and that's it. And if you stop the project because something happens, which I understand, there is a
Yeah.
restart fee because, like, in my mind, like, once I've done the design, I've walked through it and done blah, 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 I'm like moving on to the next pieces, etc.
Mhm.
So now you want me to go back to step number 2 and I'm on step 8. I'm like, "Oh my god. I gotta start all over again. Like, where are all these pieces? You may have pulled out, like, one of the
Something
most
critical to the
critical."
design. Yeah,
Right.
and then it all has to be reworked. So, yeah,
Not to mention
that's another fee, the restart fee.
right, a restart fee, right? Not that you restart but the other thing too is that, like, by the time you get everything done, you spec'd it, you presented, right? I present. And then what I do is I go back and I price everything, all the details, blah, blah, blah. Then I
Yeah,
present that, right?
yeah,
And, hopefully they have, and then they gotta make a decision, they gotta move forward and make a payment,
right.
etcetera, as soon as possible because we are seeing such, almost instant changes in the industry. Like, I was just told that Hickory chair is raising its prices on Monday. I'm like, "Okay, well, I don't have anybody right now that I'm showing Hickory chair to."
Yeah,
But, he's like, "Yeah, if you wanna get it in, if you have anything coming up," they sent out an email.
yeah,
I'm like,
prices changing, availability changes all the time, so
"Availability." Yeah.
that's why as soon as we present, we wanna get the approvals immediately. This way, move forward with placing the orders.
Not approvals, payment.
Well, approvals and payments, yes, we do not order anything without getting the payment
No.
first, and I don't think my recommendation, any designers out there, you should not be doing that either. You do not wanna front the cost for your client's project, so
Right.
anything you order, you have to get payment in full beforehand.
Right. Okay. So that's funny. That's interesting because I take full on, like, on lots of things. Sometimes, but, like, there's some things I don't take full on, like fabrics, lighting,
Why
not
not
custom pieces.
fabric?
What?
Why not
Yeah, these
fabrics?
are the ones I take full payment on.
Yeah, I
Lighting,
would say yes.
fabrics,
Yeah, yeah,
antiques.
yeah,
Sometimes,
everything I'm paying in full, I need to
yeah. If
collect.
not, like, a lot of the furniture, they're only asking I only have to put a 50%, but I'll
Yeah,
put 60% deposit down because that way, like, they're asking 50%, I'm asking 60%. Should
yeah,
something happen and the client says, "I'm not paying," most of my hopefully, a lot of my costs are covered,
yeah.
that I'm not out
I take 100%,
on everything, right up
everything. Yes, because I would rather hold the money and have it to pay when the balance is due, then go back to them and say, "Can you cut me another check for this?" For the most part, my clients like to just pay it all and know they don't have to deal with it again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then you're covered,
Yeah.
because then it doesn't stop the process to, "Oh, wait, let me get the payment now. Okay, then now I can make the payment." When it's due, I can just make the payment, it's done, and move on.
Yeah. I guess I haven't had
I like to do.
right. No, it makes sense. I haven't had to do that and I haven't had a problem
Okay.
because
Well, when you have a problem, you'll change your method.
hey, I told you so, Risha. Okay.
That's how
Well, that's
our
true.
processes evolve, right? We run into an issue and then we change the process.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. I mean, part of it is hard to ask for that 100% when they're, like you've got $120,000 in goods that you purchased and you got full payment. That's a lot. But, it's not a lot really. It is a lot and it's not a lot. However, the other part is that,
you
hopefully
know what? Not my problem.
the other problem that can arise is that the manufacturer goes out of business and now you're stuck. They've got your deposit. That hasn't happened yet too.
That I haven't had happen.
But who went out of business recently? Who had that line? I really like the line. It's more Californian. They had Ellen DeGeneres was a designer for them.
I remember she did furniture, but I don't remember the
Yeah,
company. Oh, they went out of business?
they were a big manufacturer, and I was looking at some furniture
Oh,
from their line because I loved their line. It was very modern, more West Coast feel, right?
yeah.
Big pieces though. They don't do the small mid-century modern. No.
Okay.
And then, like, I was showing my rep, I was like, okay, these are some of the pieces I'm looking at. And he's like, oh, well, I'm just trying to even think. I can see the name. I can see the showroom in High Point. And he's like, oh, they just went out of business.
Oh my god. See, that worries me more with, like, small businesses.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. It was a big business.
Yeah,
Even Tomlinson, Tomlinson was a huge, used to be way bigger than it is.
yeah,
And, they've been going through
yeah.
beautiful furniture though.
I know. It's interesting for me right now.
But there's so many beautiful pieces out there. Look at if you're not a designer and you're listening to these us designers, Elizabeth and I talk about the design thing and you're thinking, God, it sounds so complicated. It is complicated, but
Yeah,
that's why you want an interior designer. You want an interior designer because it gives you access to so much more. You're not going to Crate and Barrel. I mean,
yeah,
this is the value that we bring. Not only do we bring the value of like knowing we're like having such a abundant supply of ideas coming in all the time, new stuff. Like they just did new introductions at High Point.
right.
You have access to that. You're not
And
going to see this stuff.
how to
You're not
put
going to
it together.
put it all together and make sure you keep moving forward.
Right.
Like I'll talk to potential clients will call me and they're like, I want to do this. I'm like, okay. And, but then they decide, no, I'm going to do something. I'm going to take a different direction. Right. Okay, great. And then I always stay in contact, keep in contact somehow with them. And I call them back 6 months later. Hey, how is your project going?
Yeah.
Well, we haven't really started it yet.
Yeah,
Shocker. I can tell you, I would have been done. Yeah.
always.
So I recently did a project, master suite project for a client, and we were talking after it, and she's like, you guys, you finished that project like in 6 months. And I was like, well, it's a little more like 8. We
Yeah.
started in January, finished in August, and no, she said like 8 weeks.
Mhm.
I'm like, it was more like 6 to 8 months or something. We had
Yeah,
it into with the bed. She's like, no, you don't understand, Risha. Like that was really good because she did a project. She did the first project in our house by herself. She said it took over a year and it was a mess. It was a year of construction.
yeah,
Whereas, like, yes, it took 6, 7 months for the whole project start to begin, but that was from the time I met her
yeah.
to the time we did the last piece installation.
Mhm.
And she's like, no, that year, the more than a year that it took me was just construction.
Oh my
So it was
gosh.
horrible. And like our construction, I think I had it down. We did it. I mean, it wasn't a lot of construction, but we basically touched every surface in the closet, the bathroom, and the master bedroom. And
Yeah.
we probably were in our house for about 6 weeks. She was like, no, it was fabulous. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Yeah. But if you're thinking about using an interior designer, that should be part of the value they bring to you, is that
Yeah.
they keep it moving forward. Because I
Yeah.
wanna see it. I wanna see the finished product. I want you texting me at Saturday night at 8 o'clock saying, "Oh my god, I love my house. Like, I couldn't go out this night because I just wanted to sit here by the fire."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Speed and transformation, that's what we do.
yes. So, yeah, pricing is, can be confusing, especially if you're a beginner. It can be confusing even if you're a veteran. But stick to your guns. I like the analogy of when you are a fine dining restaurant. So when you go to that fine dining restaurant, you get table service, you get linen tablecloths. They bring everything to you. They take everything away, and you're not sitting there going, "Well, the steak. How much did you pay for the steak? Okay, give me 25% off." Like nobody's doing that at a fine dining restaurant. You
Yeah.
know that steak probably cost them 25 bucks, and they're charging you 125. Come on. You go there because it's the whole thing.
The whole
You want That's
experience.
it. And
Yeah.
that's what you're giving. So please be fine dining.
Exactly. Well, I think that's a good note to end on.
All right. Well, we're here every week, sometime during the week. I mean, we try to be Tuesday, but
So before Thanksgiving,
yeah,
Tuesday
before
before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Okay,
But
perfect.
thank you so much for tapping into us, and we hope you got some information that was
Good
helpful to you.
value on pricing. Thank
I know I
you.
did. All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye.